Alright, so Rene Descartes walks into a bar. The bartender looks at him and says, "So, Rene, you'll have a beer, won't you?" And Rene Descartes looks at him and goes, "I think not." And he disappeared. Hey kids, it's your Uncle Redneck Trucker with you again. Hey, and I've been going back and forth with this guy in the comments section of one of my videos. It was one of those atheist versus Christian videos. You should really check those out. They're funny. And he's kind of Christian, kind of deist, kind of new agey. Anyway, the guy is kind of got it going on in his head, but at other times, he says the stupidest things I've ever heard. One of which was, science is based on assumptions. You talk about no understanding of the scientific method or peer review. Any of this ringing a bell? Oy, 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 oy. So anyway, he said in the comments of one of my AVC videos last Friday, something about the mind is the only thing that's real, that reality, subjective or objective reality is the illusion, and that's all New Age head trap bullshit. And let me tell you why. Let me explain why. Let me put this in real simple terms for you. A few years ago, my dad died suddenly. A lot of my longtime subscribers already know this. And the day that I found out he died, the day that I was actually the one who found him dead, when you have such a monumental event happen in your life, you expect something to occur, something apocalyptic, something monumental, something transformative to take place. And the thing that within a few hours after getting over the shock, the thing that I realized was that nothing had changed. The birds were still chirping. People were still driving to their destinations. Plants were still growing. The earth was still turning. And I was still on it, observing it all and being part of it. And yet my father wasn't anymore. He was no longer a part of the universe in a cognitive sense. I couldn't interact with him anymore. All the molecules are still there, and he's feeding worms and plants right now. And so he goes on being part of the universe, which is reality. That is reality. See, reality is something that everyone can agree on, to greater or lesser extent. Me and you are agreeing that you are watching or at least listening to this video right now. That is something that is real. It is something we agree upon. The mind is something that starts when you first realize you have a mind, and it ends when you die. So if anything, the mind is the only thing that is not real. And he's throwing Rene Descartes at me, like, oh, well, I think, therefore I am. Well, that's why there was that opening joke. Because a thing you have to remember is that people who lived 500 years ago, 200 years ago, 20 years ago, don't know as much as we do now. They know less than we know. And so we need to take their wisdom with a grain of salt. Just like the Bible. You got to take that crap with a grain of salt, because they believe that the earth was flat and that rabbits chewed their cud, and, you know, that if you eat trafe, you'll die, or bacon, you know. I mean, these are all stupid things that we've come to find out aren't true. They were true for the day. You could get trichinosis from undercooked pork. But it's not true today, because we know how to cook pork. And so when you're taking ancient wisdom and you're espousing it as something to be held up on high, just remember, the people that you're telling that to are probably going to take it with a grain of salt, because old people who lived back in the day are dumber than you are today. And don't forget, I'm just a redneck truck driver. If I get it, so should you.